Hello there, people of YouTube. Crit Capital here, back with another Vanguard deck profile. What you see here is my Stride Murakumo deck. I want to apologize real quick. We do not have a camera right now. We are actually recording off our phones. It's serving us alright for now, as we've seen from our last video, but you know, it's going to be a little quality issue, but you know, it's good as a start, so I do apologize for that. But as you see, Murakumo Stride, it's a very deadly deck, kind of underrated. It was hyped for a while and now it kind of just dropped. But I love this deck to death. It's my favorite, one of my favorite decks to play and one of my main clans. But with all that, let's get into it. So as I said in the other video, we're going to start out with the starter, go from grade 3 and down. And then at last we'll do the Stride zone. So here we have, his name is Chain Sickle Stealth Rogue Onifundo. Literally the best starter. Nothing else beats it. It's probably one of the most broken starters in the game right now. Next to some of the stuff that Oracle Think Tank is getting in the future. But basically what he does is a G-Break 1. For a Soul Blast 1 at the start of your main phase, you can pay the cost, which is Soul Blast 1. If you do, bounce him back into your hand, check the top 3 cards of your deck, call it a 1 from among them, put the bottom on the deck, and at the end of the turn, the unit that was called with this effect goes to the bottom of the deck. So, that's amazing, because you just bounce a 10k back in your hand and filled the spot that he just left with something potentially even better on the field. And that combos really well with everything else in the deck, as you'll see when I show you. But basically, in the late game, what you want to do is you want to do this a few times, fill up your field with other cards that you can copy, call him back out, and just keep doing that until you're at the point where you're like, okay, I want to keep him in my hand, bounce him back into my hand, call something over him. Like, one of the best starters in the game currently. It's just downright amazing, and the fact that it's a common is kind of insulting. So, on to our grade 3s. I play for Fantasy Petal Storm Shirayuki. Basically, the focus of this deck is to get into your Stride over guy, but Shirayuki is a very good backup. I would be playing Hockey Vogue, but I think he's better in his own build. But basically what she does is Limit Break 4. When she's attacked, you can Counterblast 1, Persona Ditch from your hand, and the attack loses 20,000. So she's a very good defensive card, and she's a very good option, especially with some of the strides that we have. So she's a very good backup. But I will say this, you do want to get into your other guy as fast as you can. It's okay to ride her for the first grade 3 turn, and possibly the second one. But if you have to stay on her, you're going to lose. There's no other way around it. You will lose if you don't get to the other guy, which is not hard, by the way. Like, especially with the Stride Father and the other Stride, it's not hard to do. So you basically ride her, wait till you're on the other guy, and then you're fine. But she's a very good backup and something good to sit on until you can get into the other guy. Speaking of the other guy, Stealth Rogue of Revelation, Yasui. He is our Stride over guy, which is the main focus of the deck. Sorry about that. So basically what he does is, first Stride over skill. When your G unit strides, you can Counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards, search your deck for up to 2 copies of that card, and Spirit Claw into rear guard. Amazing. Especially in combination with some of the strides that we have. Just downright amazing. And then his G-Break 2. You don't really use it too much, but it's still nice to have. His G-Break 2 is at the end of the turn, when one of your units goes back to the bottom of the deck due to an effect, you can then search your deck for that, a copy of that card and call it back to rear guard. So it's good for keeping your stuff out in the field. Not too good against control decks because you don't want that stuff to get retired. So if you're playing a clan like Kagero or Kagero, Narukami, even some Tachikaze that's going to retire your units, don't do that. You never want to do that. But if you're playing a clan like Royal Paladin, Gold Paladin, things that don't retire, that's fine. That's something very nice to do. Keeps your field full. Possible intercepts as well. And this is the biggest combo into everything else in your deck. So keep that in mind as I show you the next cards. So for the next cards, onto our grade 2s, we have Stealth Beast, White Mane. I play at a 3. He's a very old card. He's from BT5, so very old card, but the deck does counterblast a lot, so having some unflips in the deck is very nice. especially on your grade 3 ride, your first stride. It's good to possibly copy him if you can. It's a very nice card, very good for unflips, which this deck does need. You do unflip Counterblast a lot. So it's a very nice card. Nothing more needs to be said about that. Next, on to one of the MVPs of this deck, we have Stealth Rogue of the Flowered Hat, Fujino. 4. You play her at a 4, nothing less, honestly. Basically, what she does is while she's on rearguard, when another one of her is placed on rearguard, she gets plus 2,000 power and an unflip if she hits. So she's basically like the Brenius of Murakumo in its own ways. So it does stack. So if you call out 2 of her, she's getting 2 unflips. It's very nice. Which is why you must play her at a 4. She stacks power, she enables hitting, and it's just amazing, especially with the 1 stride card. I know I keep mentioning that, so I'll get that around to that when we get over to the stride cards, but just keep that in mind. And next, for our last grade 2, we play Tenjiku Stealth Rogue Dokube. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names, but you know, Murakumo's hard to pronounce. Basically, the Generation Break 12k attacker. Nothing more needs to be said about this card. If you ever have to copy him, he's a very good card to have to hit over that 9k mark to enable some columns. So, very nice card. Especially for Murakumo. Murakumo needs the power. Alright, so we are on to our grade 1s. For our grade 1s, we play Stealth Beast, White Heron, 3 of the G Perfect cards. I only play 3, mostly because your grade 1 lineup is very, very tight. The other cards are very highly essential. So I play her at 3, mostly because you're going to be superior calling a lot, so your hand's going to be nice and full a good majority of the time. I know that's not a good excuse, but it's still very prevalent. And she's a very nice backup to unflip. But basically, what I'll do is if she's in my hand and I have something else in my hand as a grade 1, I will still ride her. Mostly due to the fact that if you get her into the soul and then later you use Onifundo, you can soul blast her out so she's already in the drop zone to set up for unflips. But 3 is good. You can play her at a 4. If you can find out a way to play her at 4, go ahead. But I play her at 3. I feel 3 is fine. 3 still wins games. That's all you need to worry about. Next up, we have 3 Gateway Stealth Rogue, Ataka, the Stride Fodder. He's good, like what I was saying before with Shiryuki. You place him on rear guard, drop a Shiryuki from hand, search for Yasui. So he's good. And then everyone knows what a Stride Fodder does. Drop it from hand, becomes a grade 3. Good. Need that in this deck. I only play it at 3 because, like I said, the grade 1 lineup is very tight. So next up, we have Stealth Fiend, Lake Diver. You play him at 4. You play him at 4 because he is a very good backup for Yasui. So say you're sitting on Shiryuki and you can't do the superior calling, so you call him out, counterblast 1, search for 2 copies of him, and call it to open rearguard, which, by the way, that is what he does. So when he's placed on rearguard at a Generation Break 1, you counterblast, search for 2 copies of him, and call him out to rearguard. So he's very good at setting up for your other strides if you're not sitting on Yasui. He's a very good backup for Yasui too, especially since Yasui needs at least 1 card on the field to do his skill. So if your field was just shot to shit and it was blown up and you have nothing on the field and you can't use Yasui, you stride and you call this guy and you can set up. Very nice. I play him at 4 because if one of them is popped out, at least you can still do his skill because 2 will still be in the deck. And then for the second MVP of this deck, 4 Stealth Beast Charcoal Foxes. What he does is Generation Break 1, when he's placed on rearguard, choose up to 4 units with Charcoal Fox, and they gain +2. So even if he is literally the only Charcoal Fox on the field, if you place him, he gets +2. That is essential for Murakumo because Murakumo needs that kind of power. So if he's on the field already and you superior call 2, all these Charcoal Foxes, since a lot of the cards call simultaneously, they will still get the power. So all these Charcoal Foxes just got 4, so they all just became 11k boosters. That is how this works, which is why it is essential to play at 4 in this deck. A lot of the cards call simultaneously, So with that, they'll all get the skills off at the same time. So they'll also get the power. Amazing card. You must play this at 4. You don't play it at any less. All right. So onto our triggers. Pretty generic. 6 crit. I play Stealth Beast Cat Devil mostly because he's good. Just to help get some power out there. Gives +3 to another unit, and then a basic crit. There's nothing else really special in the crit department for Murakumo, but it's very nice. Especially like if you do have to call that and you want to copy this, you're like in that late game and you just need some power. You can just copy this, call out 2 more, and you'll still have like a few crits left in your deck. Call out 2 more, put them all to soul, and you're just putting 9,000 somewhere. So it's very nice. I like playing it. So 6 crit. And then we play 6 stands. I know what you may be thinking. 6 crit, 6 stand. What are you doing? That's weird. Nah, man. This card is good because it is a very good backup. What he does is when he's placed on rear guard, you can just do it while he's on rear guard. Put him in the soul, unflip with damage. Very good backup. I don't honestly think you should take him out. If you want, it's fine. Murakumo does have a lot of unflipping options, but I like him as a very good backup. And then this guy right here needs to be played at 4. This is literally one of the most broken stand triggers in this game. Basically what he does is when he's placed on rear guard, you put him back to the top of the deck, choose one of your units, superior call 2 copies of that for no cost. And then you just recycle a stand trigger back into your deck. So there's nothing else that needs to be said about that. That is like another MVP. This is the 3rd MVP of this deck. You need to play it at 4. You play it at any less, you're not playing Murakumo right. I'm sorry. So that is with the stand triggers. Remember though, they do go back to the bottom of the deck with these superior calls. And then basic 4 heal. I would play another heal trigger, but I like her art. So that's basic. And now on to our strides. So for our first stride, we play Cosmetic Snowfall, Shiryuki. This card can be played at 1 or 2. She's not only good for Shiryuki, but she's also good for Yasui, which is very surprising. But basically what she does is when she's placed on Vanguard, you search your deck for a card with the same name as your heart unit and call it the rear guard. Then, if your heart is Shiryuki, you can drop a card from your hand to bounce that card back to your hand. So, it's very good and clutch with Yasui, because say you have nothing on your field, and you don't have anything in your hand that can help you out here. So, and you're sitting on Yasui, so you stride into her, call out a Yasui, and then the Yasui's stride effect still needs to go off because those on plays kind of blast 1 and duplicate Yasui. It helps build up field as a clutch moment, so it's very nice. Play it at 1 or 2. I'm honestly considering playing it at 2, but I think the 1 is fine for now. And then I'm going to butcher the shit out of his name, guys, so I'm sorry, but this is Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue Kagami Jishi. Play him at 3. So basically, what he does is when one of your units is placed on rear guard, if you have 2 or more units with the same card name as that unit gets plus 2,000 and can attack from the back row. This guy is your stride opener with Yasui. If you have something on the field, this is your stride opener every single time. This is also your 2nd turn stride and possibly your 3rd turn stride because it is just amazing. So let me give you the rundown. So you have Yasui and a Fujino. Basically, what you do, you stride into him, you kind of blast 1, target her, and then call 2 more. And now, remember what I said? Murakumo calls simultaneously. Both these cards, since they're called simultaneously, his skill will activate for the 2 of them. So this girl just got plus 2,000. This one just got plus 2,000. She can attack from the back row. This just got 4,000. And since they are called simultaneously, her skill still goes off regularly. So they just both got another 2,000 and can both unflip. So you just call. So if you have, per se, that and that in the back row, this just became a 13K, which is going to make an 18K column. This is going to attack for 33. This is attacking for 13, and this is attacking for 13. And then if you get a stand trigger, Jesus, you just attack 6 times. Maybe 5. But it's amazing. Like, the early game rush, the grade 3 rush that you can get with this guy and any of your other units is just phenomenal. You play it, you first turn stride, second turn stride, and possibly, if you want, third turn stride. You're going to finish your opponent off by then. So with that, I'm going to get these out of the way and make way for the 5th and final MVP of this deck. You play Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue Homer Raider. You play this at 4. Now this guy, what he does is he has an activate, counterblast 2, G Persona flip, so you unflip one of him. He loses a twin drive, so he goes down to he loses a drive, so he goes down to a twin drive. But he gets a skill after the battle that he attacks. You can choose 3 units with the same name, put them back to the bottom of your deck, and restand him. So everyone loves a restanding Perfect Guard. I know I sure as hell do. So basically, just as an example, you have 3 of these in the back row. You attack with these 2, swing with him, swing with this column. That's 33. No, stack all the triggers. Say you get 1 crit. That's fine. Put these back to the bottom of your deck. Restand him. He's attacking for 31 and another crit, and then you just get 2 more drive checks. So very amazing. Everyone loves a restanding not Perfect Guard. I'm sorry. Restanding Stride. I know I do. Is amazing. So you play this guy at 4, which is not a problem because he's like $5 or $6 right now. Like I said, Murakumo is pretty underhyped for some reason, but I hope after you see this video, you might consider it. But that is it, guys. That is my Murakumo Stride Yasui deck. The next deck profile that we're probably going to get out to you is either Grand Blue or Dark Irregular. So stay in tune for that. This is Crit Capital. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys next time.